Hello everyone and welcome to another Skyrim build, this time based around the Wood Elf, and, as with my previous two builds, this is a challenge build designed to only use the starting skills of the build, therefore limiting the character to only using 6 different skills. If you've been enjoying these builds, make sure to let me know by leaving a like and a comment. To kick things off, let's see the Wood Elf's perspective of what happened on the night that the group met. The Archer had been kicked out of Vvardenfell many years back, due to breaking the terms of the Green Pact. He lived his life however he wanted, and never understood why some set of rules should hold him back. Despite missing his home at first, he quickly began to enjoy the added freedom that life on the road granted to him. He spent most of his days walking through the wooded areas of Cyrodiil, hunting whenever he was hungry and taking anything he liked the look of. One night he was walking through the woods, searching for a place to set up camp, with a pair of rabbits slung over his shoulders, and he spied a light in the distance. Not feeling like making his own fire, he decided to instead walk to the light and use someone else's to cook his dinner. When he drew close, he saw a large human male and a female Alchemist sitting with one another. He called out to the pair in a jolly voice, asking if they were hungry. Both individuals reacted with a look of panic, but seeing the smiling face of the short wood elf seemed to relax them a little. They offered him a seat and thanked him for the food. The two both seemed sombre, and the archer decided that they must both be very hungry, so elected to go out for another quick hunt, so they could all eat well tonight. It only took him a few minutes to find a good hunting spot, and with a couple of arrows let loose, he had another pair of rabbits shouldered. As he reached the camp once more, he saw an Argonian and a Dunmer sitting with the original pair. He spoke with them for a moment before deciding they would need more than a single rabbit apiece. This time he spent a little longer out in the woods, and didn't return until he had half a dozen animals with him. Once he returned there were yet more people though, this time a Breton and Khajiit sitting with each other and carefully eyeing up the others in the group. The archer dumped off the haul from the hunt, and immediately turned around to get more food, not even bothering to speak to any of the group. Deciding that it would be best to over-accommodate this time, he took down a pair of deer and dragged them back towards the fire. As expected, yet more people had arrived. This time what looked like a pair of soldiers, who were receiving worried looks from the rest of the group. The archer spoke to them with his normal cheerfulness though, asking them if they would help prepare the deer for cooking. Seemingly happy to avoid further conversation with the rest of the group, the Imperial offered up his services immediately. The mood around the camp was a cautious one, but the elf decided to try and brighten everyone's spirits by telling them jokes and singing songs. This led to the others offering up songs of their own, from their own cultures, and this seemed to help alleviate the tension that had been building. The Breton and Khajiit started handing out ale and mead, seemingly from thin air, and when the Red Guard turned up to the camp, he was greeted with cheers and smiles. Now as a group of 10, they spent the night feasting and laughing, each one apparently having whatever problems they were facing removed for at least one night. When they wake in the morning, it becomes apparent that around half the group had planned on heading north towards Skyrim, and the remaining members decide to travel with them, the Wood Elf included. Despite the others not being as lively and joyous as they were last night, the archer still enjoyed their company as he walked. When they reached the border though, things suddenly changed. The archer hadn't been paying much attention to the others, instead staring at the sky and admiring the beauty of the clouds. This meant that the sudden appearance of a sword at his throat came as quite the surprise. He is carried over towards a cart led by an Imperial soldier, and sees many men in blue uniforms also being taken with him. He can't spot any of the rest of his group, and realises that he's alone, and will have to work out a plan to escape. As the cart starts moving, he tries to work out just how he's going to get his way out of this particular predicament. The skills for this build are Archery, Sneak, Lockpicking, Pickpocket, Light Armour, and Alchemy. As you can imagine, having both Archery and Sneak in one of these builds means Stealth Archery is the ideal route to go down. Combine the Overdraw perks with Deadly Aim and we will be dealing plenty of damage to take down most targets with ease. It's also worth considering getting the Hunter's Discipline perk in the Archery tree if you find yourself regularly running low on arrows, as you can't craft or buy any. Lockpicking is a skill that you likely won't end up investing any perk points into, but being able to unlock any chest you come across is nice to have, and stops you from having to rely on followers or use of the Tower Stone. That being said, you may find yourself running lower than usual on lockpicks, so the perks in this tree aren't as bad as they normally would be. Pickpocket is a great skill for this build. Not only will it let us take anything that will be of use to us, but it is also a great way to get around the difficulty of skill trading with these builds. Every time you train a skill with a trainer, you can just pickpocket the gold back from them, allowing this build to level far faster than most. Take the Cutpurse perk to improve your chances and you'll have an easy time with this. If you're looking for some safe ways to level Pickpocket early on, then check out the episode of my Skyrim no-kill run titled Pickpocket Perfectionist. The Wood Elf starts with light armour at 20, so we will be wearing just that. As a stealth build, this doesn't matter so much in terms of the armour rating, but it does offer us a lot of great equipment already in the game. I'll talk in the equipment section about the various items available to you from this skill. The final skill of this build is Alchemy, and by god is it nice to be able to craft potions again. Any of you who watch my other content likely know how much I love Alchemy, and for this build it's going to be a great way to improve our combat capabilities. Various poisons can be used to help kill in the least amount of shots, and fortified potions can improve our base damage or sneaking abilities. I will be leaving some choice potions and poisons in the description, but feel free to leave a comment with any good ones you have tried out. The main standing stone for this build will be the Thief Stone. This is going to help us level even faster than normal, and it's critical to ensuring we aren't spending too long grinding skills. If going up against a particularly difficult fight, you may want to temporarily switch over to the Shadow or Serpent stones to help you adapt to the situation, be it by disappearing or by paralysing an enemy. In terms of other powers, most won't be of a great deal of help, as using them can often break your stealth, but the silent shouts of Aura Whisper and Throw Voice can be a great deal of help when dealing with groups of enemies in order to work out how to pick them off one by one. I was using an Elven Bow whilst playing, as one of these can be obtained early by heading to Solstheim and looting the Dead Redoran Guard by the farm outside of Ravenrock. As time goes on, you will want to keep switching to whatever the best bows you come across are, but as endgame weapons to aim for, I would suggest either the Nightingale Bow or Glass Bow of the Stag Prince. The latter of which will require a bit of fancy pickpocketing, but I doubt this will be a problem for any of you. As armour for this build, I wore Thieves Guild Armor, boots and gloves, and also the Shrouded Cowl. This will give a good mix of bonuses to improve the character overall in just about every way. Later on in the game, I would advise adding some pieces of Limway's armour, or ideally Croesus, for the maximum bonuses for this build. When looting chests or picking pockets, keep an eye open for any rings and necklaces with suitable enchantments too. The main faction of this build is going to be the Thieves Guild. Joining them will grant us several bonuses, and open up a very enjoyable questline to travel down. An additional faction you may wish to join is the Dark Brotherhood. The Archer is by no means evil, but he doesn't have a problem with killing people either. More than anything, it will depend on how much fun the Archer thinks it will be spending time as an assassin, as to whether or not you join, so the choice is ultimately yours. A follower early on can help in any fights you come across, but as a stealth archer you'll want to travel alone as early as you can. If you do end up travelling with a follower though, make sure to use the follow and wait commands to ensure you can stay stealthy most of the time. This character plays as a fairly standard stealth archer. Use poisons and potions to enhance your combat abilities, and use pickpocket and lockpicking to get everything helpful you can. You'll see in the footage that when stealth is broken, you can still work as a decent combat archer, keeping distance from your enemies and pelting them with arrows. Make sure to invest some points into stamina to keep you agile though, as you don't want to be out of breath when a warhammer is swinging towards your head. Role-playing for this build is incredibly easy, as all you have to focus on is having fun. Despite this being a challenge build, I have a feeling it will be the easiest one to adapt to, and is a good starting point for anyone who hasn't attempted the previous ones yet. Thank you all for watching this build. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new around here, and feel free to leave a comment on the video too. If you leave one, then I will almost certainly reply to it, cause that's just how nice a guy I am. If you're looking for more stuff to watch right now, then feel free to have a browse through my channel or click on one of the on-screen links.